Today, we have Hearts on the brink with 7 wild managerial candidates that could either save them or sink them. Over in Dublin, chaos erupts as Celtic supporters are disgracefully attacked by far-right thugs, and the backlash is already making international waves. Meanwhile, Kris Boyd is left eating his words after Celtic pull off what he once called virtually impossible, smashing Rangers' long-held title record. But hold on, it gets even worse for the green and white faithful, as Jota faces a devastating injury nightmare that could wreck Celtic's Champions League dreams before they even begin. At Rangers, as Paraag Marathe's shock Van Bronckhorst twist leaves fans fearing the worst. Love the FIPA? You're in the right place, mate. Hit that wee subscribe button, join the crew, and listen, once we hit 1,000 subs, somebody's bagging a brand new SPFL shirt. Could be you, Ken? Get involved. Well, things are getting properly spicy at Tynecastle, are they not? Hearts are stuck down in 8th, only 5 points clear of the dreaded playoff spot. And now they are scrambling to avoid a horror end to the season. After losing to Dundee in their first post-split match, the Jambos are looking nervously over their shoulders instead of dreaming of Europe. They have not even scored a single goal in their last 4 league matches. And to make matters worse, Aberdeen gave them a boot out of the Scottish Cup at the semi-final stage. Grim times for the maroon half of Edinburgh. Right now, it is up to interim boss Liam Fox to keep the good ship Hearts afloat. But come the summer, it looks like a full managerial makeover is on the cards, with Jamestown Analytics sharpening their pencils to find the next poor soul brave enough to take the job. Let us talk candidates, shall we? First up, Matthias Hogmo nearly had to give before talks exploded at the last minute. He is now at Molde, where things are going so badly they are second bottom of the Norwegian league. Not exactly the sparkling CV Hearts might want right now. Then there is Cal Carlson, a Swedish boss who pulled off a promotion with Vasteras SK only to crash straight back down with relegation. Not ideal. Rob Page is floating around after getting the sack from Wales when they flopped in their Euro 2024 bid. At least he has World Cup experience, right? Gary Rowett is another name, doing bits with Oxford United in the English Championship, so he might be a tricky one to tempt north. Scandinavia is still a theme though, with Kim Hellberg catching attention after pulling off some minor miracles with Varnamo in Sweden and now managing Hammarby. Ian Evatt could be an option too, after he dragged Bolton Wanderers out of League 2 misery and almost into the championship before leaving earlier this year. And let us not forget Arnar Gunnlaugsson, a familiar face from his Dundee United days, now bossing Iceland's national team. Getting him out of there might need some proper sweet talking. Should Hearts aim big and throw money at an experienced name like Rob Page or Gary Rowett? Or would you rather gamble on an exciting but risky project like Kim Hellberg or Ian Evatt? What an absolute disgraceful scene coming out of Dublin this weekend. A peaceful gathering of Celtic supporters at the James Connolly Pub, celebrating their club's 55th Scottish League title, turned ugly when a far-right group barged in and launched a vicious attack. It is as ironic as it is sickening. The pub itself is named after James Connolly, an Irish socialist and hero of the Easter Rising, a man who fought for freedom and justice. And yet it was invaded by people chanting anti-immigration slogans and waving Israeli flags in what can only be described as a complete mockery of everything he stood for. Inside, Celtic fans were celebrating a historic moment with Irish-born Adam Ida, the son of a Nigerian immigrant, scoring twice to seal the title away at Dundee United, a perfect symbol of multiculturalism and pride. Instead of sharing in the joy, these agitators decided to spew hatred and violence, even hurling horrendous racial abuse at non-Irish staff and management. Absolutely vile behavior. Credit where credit is due though. The Celtic supporters stood their ground, forced the attackers out, and secured the pub until the police could ensure safety. The spirit of 1803 Celtic Supporters Club released a strong statement condemning the bigotry, reminding everyone that Celtic FC was founded on principles of welcoming the impoverished, the immigrant, and the refugee. A club built on solidarity, not division. It is a grim reminder that even in football, even in celebration, the ugliness of racism and extremism tries to creep in. But at the same time, It shows that the true spirit of Celtic will never bow down to hatred. Do you believe football clubs like Celtic should become even more politically outspoken against racism and far-right movements, or should they focus strictly on football and leave political fights to others? Celtic have officially clinched their 55th Premiership title, pulling level with Rangers on league win and sending the green half of Glasgow into absolute raptures. 14 titles in 15 seasons. That is not just dominant. That is the kind of consistency that would make even the most stubborn rival tip their hat, or maybe just pull it down over their face in despair. And speaking of stubborn rivals, none other than Kris Boyd had his say. Now, Boyd is not exactly known for handing out compliments to Celtic without gritted teeth involved. But fair play to him, he swallowed his pride and congratulated the champions on Sky Sports News. He even admitted that, back in his playing days, he thought it was virtually impossible for Celtic to ever catch Rangers' trophy. Boyd pointed out something that Celtic fans will absolutely love to hear. Since Rangers returned to the top flight, it is not about what happened when they were down in the lower league. Celtic have actually won more trophies with Rangers back in the Premiership than when they were out of it. A devastating little stat for the blue side to chew on. Right now, the tally stands at 120 trophies for Celtic against 118 for Rangers. And with the Scottish Cup final against Aberdeen looming large, Celtic could stretch that gap even further. Brendan Rodgers' side looked like a runaway train, while Rangers, according to Boyd, are falling further and further behind with no clear sign of turning it around, even with a takeover supposedly on the horizon. Is it fair to say that Celtic's dominance now makes the old Rangers title record almost irrelevant in the grand debate over who the true kings of Scotland are? Aye, it is not all smiles and sunshine at paradise. Despite the title celebration, Celtic might have wrapped up their 55th league title in style with that thumping 5-0 win over Dundee United. The party came with a heavy price. Star man Jota could be facing a brutal spell out after hobbling off the pitch with what looks like a serious knee injury. You could see it straight away. One awkward landing, clutching his knee, and that was it. He needed crutches and a knee brace just to get back out for the trophy lift. Reports are now swirling that the £8 million Portuguese winger could miss several months. Not just the Scottish Cup final against Aberdeen next month, but maybe even the start of next season. That is a nightmare in itself. But add to that the fact Celtic have a Champions League playoff looming in August, and suddenly the mood around Lennoxtown is looking a bit more anxious than euphoric. Brendan Rodgers, ever the diplomat, tried to keep things calm over the weekend, saying it might just be a sore meniscus. But let us be real. If they have slapped a brace on and he is already hobbling about on crutches, it does not sound minor at all. There is genuine fear that Celtic could be without one of their most important players for some seriously critical matches. Jota was not just another name on the team sheet either. He played a huge part in Celtic's dominance this season, and even before the injury, he had a hand in the first goal at Tannadice, forcing Ryan Strain into that own goal. Watching him limping down the tunnel while everyone else celebrated was a proper gut punch moment for the fan. If Jota misses the Champions League qualifiers, should Celtic break the bank for a replacement in the summer? Even if it means risking financial stability for a shot at the group stages. There has been a real buzz around Rangers lately, with Paraag Marathe and Andrew Kavanagh leading the 49ers enterprises into the club. A lot of fans were dreaming of big investment, smart leadership, and finally closing that growing gap to Celtic. Marathe is riding high after helping Leeds United get back to the Premier League, so you would think the excitement is well justified. But hang on a minute. A little red flag is flapping in the wind, and it is one Rangers fans might want to keep an eye on. Reports have surfaced that despite Leeds winning promotion, Marathe is considering sacking Daniel Farke. Yes, the same manager who just got them up. Why? Because of concerns about his previous record in the Premier League. Ambition is great, but it also shows Marathe and the 49ers are not exactly patient when it comes to managers. And here is where it gets properly uncomfortable for Rangers supporters. Apparently, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is one of the names being sounded out by Leeds as a potential replacement. Yes, the same Van Bronckhorst who had a very mixed spell at Ibrox, leading Rangers to a Europa League final, but failing badly in domestic competitions before being shown the door. Imagine the new Rangers owners looking at Van Bronckhorst and thinking he is the man for a Premier League project. Suddenly, you have to ask yourself, if that is the level of ambition at Leeds, what kind of choices might they make at Ibrox? And with Barry Ferguson only just getting his feet under the desk as Rangers manager, you can be sure some fans are already getting twitchy about what could happen if results do not go the right way early next season. If the new Rangers owners sat Barry Ferguson early and bring back Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, would that be a sign of ambition or pure madness? And don't forget, we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that mark, we're giving away a shirt of your favorite SPFL team to one lucky subscriber. So hit that subscribe button, drop your team in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football. See you soon.